Just because we're working from home during shelter in place doesn't mean that we're not still going to bring you answers to some of the most common questions we get here at PEG. One of the questions we get all the time is, what information do we need in order to accurately quote your project? And I break that into two categories: pre-post animation style video and also live events. Let's start with pre-post and animation. One of the first things we're going to need to know is what parts of pre-production are we handling or are you handling? So for instance, is there a script in place, or are you looking for us to create the script and even concept? Is there a storyboard that you already have developed and we're just executing it, or are we also creating the storyboard as well? After that, we're going to need to factor in if there are any shoot costs. For an animation project, there might not be, but for most projects, there might be 1, 2, 3 cameras, differences in lighting setups. You might need a preview monitor. And then, of course, we'll scale the crew up and down as needed for the individual need. Then we have the editing and animation costs. We'll discover all of that on the discovery phone call with you, as well as how many deliverables you're going to need. So you might be doing, for instance, 4 subjects with each of them having a 60, 30, and a 15-second deliverable. 12 total deliverables, right? That's very different than if we were just doing a single 30-second deliverable, for example. And ultimately, that will help drive the cost, and ultimately we'll take all of that information, compile it into a single quote that then you would get. Now let's talk about live events a little bit, right? So live events tends to be a little bit more equipment and also personnel focused. So one of the first questions we'll often ask is, how many cameras do you need? We have live events that go 2, 4, 6, 8 cameras. Sometimes it's just a single camera doing an IMAG, and sometimes it's no cameras at all because you might just want us to provide audio or lighting support. Speaking of audio and lighting, that scales up and down too. Sometimes we go into a facility that has 6 microphones built in and all of the stage lighting you need, and we're just providing cameras and switching capabilities. Other times we're bringing in the full lighting grid with uplights, and we're providing all of the microphones, speakers, etc. That will obviously vary by project, and we'll handle essentially all of that during the needs discovery phone call as well. Same thing with more minor things. Are we going to need a switcher? Are you making the presentation, or are we? Who's controlling the presentation when somebody's on stage? Other components that oftentimes come into play for live events are the number of days. So for instance, a 4-day event where we're having like a corporate meeting over 4 days, that obviously takes considerable more time investment than something like a single-day event. Beyond that, we also have deliverables sometimes for live events. Oftentimes a corporate client will want us to make a recap video, for example. That we can obviously do and provide as well, but sometimes that's not necessary. Just like pre, post, and animation style videos, we'll discover all of those needs on the initial discovery phone call or during our initial meeting with you. Moral of the story, we'll discover your needs, we'll compile a quote, sometimes several different options that you can select from, and then ultimately you'll have all the information you need to make the decision that works best for you.